right, guys, we're going to get started. Thank you for coming to our CLE program. Just two really quick reminders. Please fill out the form to receive credit. Leave it here on the counter and also sign the sign-in sheet. We have a presenter, Rich Lucia, and Jim Musco will do his introduction.
Thanks, Jen. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. I'm here to introduce Rich Lucia, who's going to speak today on business development. I've known Rich since our kids were very young. Many adventures with Rich, and I trust him as a mentor and a confidant, and I make it a point at least twice a year to have breakfast with him because he's always full of excellent advice. And whenever I or any of my knucklehead friends have questions or advice about life or anything in general, we always go to Rich. We call him the Godfather because he has all the answers to all the questions. And one of the things that we've talked about in our prior discussions was the fact that when I was in law school and going as a young associate, that we're never really taught the skill, the art of business development. And what happens a lot of times is we get clumsy advice and ham-handed advice on how to just try to be salesmen. And what Rich is going to talk about today is how not to be perceived as a huckster or a salesman, and give you some valuable business development skills. Rich speaks all around the country. He's written books. He's in the industry for 25 years at least. And then when he got out of the rat race, he's gone around the country mentoring sales organizations, law firms, other groups on how to develop business and how to market effectively. He's a dear friend of mine, and here he is.
Wow. Yeah, it's great to get that kind of introduction, and it's nice to hear that you come to me for advice. That makes me feel good. Although my screensaver says, take my advice, I'm not using it. Yeah, what we're going to do today is probably not what you're going to expect. Because instead of here's another sales guy who's going to teach us how to be salespeople. And just the contrary. Because business development, as far as you're concerned, and even what salespeople are doing today, is wrong. How people get their information has changed. People process that information has been totally mishandled for years, and we're still teaching for business development.
I have it here. I have it here.
What I'm saying is that you are not salespeople.
I don't know if that works.
Salespeople, you'd be outselling somewhere. So what you do when you're left to do something that's outside of your natural skin, I call it, that's what you're supposed to be doing. I bump into people who don't have an Italian descent, like myself. And the first thing they find out when they say you're Italian, they say, oh, you like those spicy meatballs, huh? Wow, that's a little offensive. Just a tad. They're not really relating to me, but that's their stereotype that all salespeople walk around, eating spicy meatballs. Although I like meat.
Same as spicy meatballs.
So today we're going to be doing something a little different than maybe what you're expecting, and I'm just asking you to open up. Now, anybody remember the movie with Billy Crystal, not Blazing Saddles?
City Slickers.
City Slickers, thank you. All right, one of the keynotes of that movie, the fact that they were talking about one thing. You have to find out the one thing that's going to make you successful. All I'm saying today is let's have a goal and objective.
It's the top of the night.
Develop more business. And at the end, if we have time, we'll go around the room and see what you're doing. So that's the way we're going to start this thing off. Now, here's my mantra. There's only one thing uglier. Only one thing I'm an attorney trying to act like a stereotypical salesperson. You know what it is? salesperson trying to act like an attorney. Because when you do something that's outside of what's natural for you, what you prefer to do, what you like to do, you're very cumbersome. We have any golfers in the room? Okay, we have one golfer. All right. When I first took my first golf lesson, this is what it was like. I never played golf. I said, I'll give it a try. Shoulders level, feet apart, okay, head down, arms straight, head up, knees bent, right? Eyes down on the ball, stand up straight, now swing. I'm like Herman Munster, trying to hit the ball. But what do we all strive for in life? We strive to have the natural golf swing, the natural tennis swing. And why is that? Because we know that if we do something over and over again, memory muscle kicks in, and we do it naturally. We don't have to think about it. I mean, think about your tasks that you do as an attorney. You do those naturally because you were trained, you're used to doing that, you're in the zone. So all of a sudden someone comes along, they're going to teach you a new skill that's outside of your natural skin, and you are now awkward, but you try anyway. And the reason why you try anyway is because of the motivation that you have. And let's talk about motivation just for a second. What is your motivation? If I can ask people right now, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? Call them out. What do you like? Anybody?
Sleeping and hobby?
Drink. Sleeping could be a hobby. Drink. Those are hobbies. Those are things that motivate you. Does anyone say, it's time to drink, and you say, no, I don't. No, it's time to drink. No. Anything else?
Coaching youth sports.
Coaching youth sports, okay? We said we have one golfer here, tennis players.
Playing sport.
Excuse me?
Playing sports.
Sports.
Everybody's answer should be
Biker?
the softball team.
Anybody ride a bike? Ride a bike? Yes, so do I. How about swimming? Skiing. Okay, these are all things that you like to do. And when you do those things, psychologists say that you are in a pleasure zone. And you get a lot of pleasure out of doing it. No one has to motivate you to do them. You do them on your own. Well, let's take a look at motivation as it pertains to things like that. Oh, by the way, let me ask you a question. All the people who have hobbies and things you like to do, I noticed no one said, you know what I really like to do? I like to go down to a used car lot and listen to a sales rep.
I mean,
You like that?
Drink.
Yeah. I've given this presentation all over the country, and not once has anybody ever said, oh yeah, I like to play tennis, I like to play golf. Oh, I like to go down to these car lots on Saturdays and get pitched by a salesman. So that's not something that's naturally you want to do. It's not in your pleasure zone, okay? So let's take a look at this thing. What drives you? And I'm saying there's three different areas. You have a pleasure zone or pleasure seeking. There's the things you should do because you have to do it. Let's put business development as one of them. People say, well, you're a lawyer, you went to school to become a lawyer, and you're going to practice law, and you're going to work with clients. But first, you have to go find some clients. You have to get some business somewhere. Well, that's a should do. And your should do, depending upon your personality, sometimes leaks into the yuck area. I don't want to do that. But I have to go to a seminar. I have to go pitch people. I don't really like doing that. It's outside of your pleasure zone. But let's take a look at the people you're talking to. Your clients or prospective clients. They're no different than you are, not going on a Saturday afternoon listening to sales. They have the same kind of areas. They have pleasure-seeking areas in their brain, and they have should do, and they have yuck. I don't want to hear about it. The yuck area is, anybody getting robocalls these days? Yeah. How do you feel about that? That's clearly in the yuck zone. For me, it's like, no way, I don't want to do it. And what I'm asking you to do is just change your perspective a little bit as it relates to motivation. Because if we could do anything today, I want to just give you an opportunity to change the way you think about things a little bit, because you just might be on the wrong track. And you don't understand what your client's motivation or prospective clients is. When I was going to college at Temple, I came home one day and my grandmother lived with us, first generation over from Italy. And I said, Grandma, do you have a picture of my grandfather? She goes, no, I got no picture of your grandfather. So he passed away when I was 3 years old. I said, you don't have any picture at all? I can see a picture of my grandfather. She goes, well, I got it. It's one picture. She says, but I hate. I said, well, go get it. So she goes in her room, goes back a little later. She goes, look at this picture. My Attilio. She says, I'm a hate. He's got this gosh darn a hat on. And here's a picture of my grandfather with a 1930 fedora hat on. Look at this. The only picture I have, he's got this gosh darn a hat. I said, well, we'll airbrush it off. That was my client. She goes, key or brush? I said, they can take the hat off. She goes, no can do. You make a funnel lady. I said, come on, tomorrow we'll go to Philadelphia. We came here down, went to a photographer, and we walk in, and she walks up and she goes, excuse me, my grandson, he make a bigger fool of me. He told me you could take a picture off of my hat off of my Attilio. He says, yeah, we can take it off. We can airbrush it off. You can do? Oh, God bless you. She starts hugging this guy. Thank you so much. I'm funny to have a picture of my Attilio without this gosh darn a hat. He goes, let me ask you a few questions. What's your name? She goes, Teresa Sanafloni. Okay. He says, what color was your husband's hair? She goes, oh, you'll see that when you take the hat off. Now, I was clearly not in a position where I understood my client or my grandmother. She didn't know what airbrush meant. She was looking at, I used to take her to watch the movie, and she'd see a movie. She says, oh, he'd die again. Because to her it was happening at the time. So if your clients feel this way and you feel this way, why in the heck do we spend most of our time in our yuck zone? You're sent to a seminar or give a presentation or do a video or do other things, business development things that you think are the right way to get business because that's the way you were told by some well-meaning salesperson or whatever. And you're dancing in your yuck zone and you're dancing in your client's yuck zone. It's never going to work. Never, never, never. And that's why it doesn't. And if you're going to know why your close ratio is off, it's not because they don't want what you have or you get beat out by competition or all the other things, the excuses that you write down. You just might be in the yuck zone. So what's the objective? The objective is stay out of the yuck. Don't go there. Don't be there. Don't go there. Don't, whatever the case may be. So it's easy for you to say, how do you do that? You do it by changing your perspective just a little bit about the way you think that you should be operating. And what I'm saying today is don't be salespeople. Don't be salespeople. Be attorneys. Here's the number one yuck trap of how you can be in the yuck zone. Number one, here it is, the I perspective. Now, when you're talking about yourself, psychologists that have put measurements on your pleasure centers of your brain, you're doing great. You're feeling good. Hey, it's about me. You're feeling good. You feel really good what you're talking about. But your client, you're in your yuck zone. These are people calling and say, let me tell you a little bit about myself. No, I don't want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. I don't care about yourself. Okay? But you're all happy. So stay out of the words I do this, I do that. In the Bible, it says David killed 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of an ass. Today, 1,000 opportunities are killed every day using that sample. But yet we do it because we're conditioned. We think I'm supposed to walk into a seminar and say, hi, I'm Rich Lucia, and I'm an attorney, and I practice in this field here. I don't think it's going to work. It wouldn't work on you. Why would you think it's going to work on a prospective client? All right? Yuck trap number 2, pitching. You're taught to pitch. Go out there and pitch. Did you ever hear the word elevator pitch? You have to know, you have to have a good elevator pitch. What? Blah, blah, blah. That was back in the days when no one knew anything, pre-internet. When I could walk into a law firm like this and ask for an appointment, they take me right back. Try it now. There's no standard one-size pitch that fits all. So why memorize one? Why learn one? What you're going to do is make a fool of yourself. Standing on the edge of the woods, taking a shot and hoping something runs into it is not hunting. But yet we do it with the standard elevator pitch. Don't do it. Because what you do is you walk up to someone in a seminar, a networking meeting, and you say, hi, I do this. You want any? You're no different than that robocall. And you know what happens? Because you're operating in, you might be operating in your, I have to do this because I need business. I need clients. You might be operating in that zone, but you're closer to your yuck zone because you don't want to do it. How many times can you do it before you say, I've had enough, I can't do this. I can't pick the phone up and call somebody. I don't like doing it. And they don't like carrying it. So yet the whole world keeps firing and doing this dance back and forth. So you got to get out of this mode. And by the way, you know what happens when you're not successful at that? Tell me what happens. People say, well, you tried that 100 times, didn't work, do it again. Do 100 more times. I had 2 uncles. We grew up right here in South Philadelphia. And they wanted to go into business. And they said, what kind of business are we going in? They said, I know. Let's drive over to New Jersey. It's right over the bridge. We'll buy watermelons. And we'll drive back into Philadelphia. And we'll sell watermelons. Sounds good. So they did that. They went to New Jersey, got a truckload of watermelons, drove into Philadelphia. They bought them for $1 a piece. They drove into Philadelphia, and they sold them for $1 a piece. And this went on for about, I don't know, a month and a half. And one of my uncles turns to the other and says, Giuseppe, he says, something's wrong. He says, we selling a lot of watermelons and we're not making no money. He says, I know what the problem is. What's that? We need a bigger truck. So when you do this and someone tells you to do more of it, that's getting a bigger truck. We have to change our mind. We have to do something else. We have to get out of the yuck zone. Okay? With me so far here? I mean, everybody saying, wow, what's he talking about? Yuck number 3, wrong audience. You memorize a script. You memorize a presentation. Okay? And does it fit the people you're talking to? I don't know. It's a standard one I do. How about blogs? By the way, does anybody know the difference in a blog and an article? What is it?
Well, a blog, you like regularly update with things, and an article's more of a.
Good answer. Best answer I've heard around the whole country. You win a prize.
Thank you.
Have another slice of pizza. By the way, I got that pizza parlor, the pizza plate I got thrown out of there last week. I went in there and ordered a pizza, and they said, you want me to cut in 8 slices or 6? I said, you better cut in 6. I don't think I could eat 8. Yeah. My standard answer was, let me should blog and an article was about 10 years. Matter of fact, I wrote a bunch of articles that are on my website, and as soon as blogs became popular, I just changed them to blogs. And now they're blogs. Okay? So when you write a blog about something, are you really understanding the audience?
Probably not teachers.
You got a spelling mistake?
SP? Are you meant, is that a joke? Like peaches? Like, or
Yes. No, that's a mistake. Very good. He's paying attention. See, I do that once in a while. We'll see if he's paying attention. That's very good. You weren't drinking as much as. So when you write these things, are they geared towards the audience? Or are they geared towards what you want to say? You know, blogs, or you're going to give a speech to a group, is it germane to the group? I can give you a presentation on lap quilting. Anybody interested? Other than the CLE credit and the pizza, not much out of it. Right? Videos. You have a wonderful tool here, WG University. And I had a chance to watch a bunch of videos, and some of them were very good. There's one with Catherine Tenzinger. I got her name right? Where's she here? That's you?
Wow.
You did, by the way, you did an excellent job, because a lot of the blogs were, I do this, I do that, this is what's going on, this is what this means, this is what that means, that means. And I looked at it, and the audience was really other attorneys, because you wanted to talk about how much you knew about that topic. But you came in something that really caught my eye. you talked about the benefit to the client. You might want to do this because of this, and you'll probably be in a situation. And let me give you an analogy that might make sense to you. Is football one.
Mhm.
Remember
Yeah.
saying that? Okay. That's perfect, because now you're gearing what you're talking about to the audience. Okay, so that's the other thing. Make sure your audience. So how do you do that? When you put together a speech or a blog or a video, call somebody in who isn't an attorney. Call somebody in who is in the target market and say, what do you think of that? They'll say, oh, I don't know. It's all about. Okay. So, all right, we made our point. We're stay out of the yuck. How do we get in the pleasure zone for people who really want to be? Okay, anybody have any clue on how to do that? Sir?
Listen to what's important to them.
Oh, listen, no, man, somebody figured out that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we're going to use them accordingly. You wouldn't think about working with a client without knowing as much as you can about them and what their problem is, would you? Then why would you walk in with an elevator pitch and just stand there in the woods, take a shot, and hope they run into it? Okay, so here is the way to do it. Doesn't involve selling. It doesn't involve learning a new skill. It doesn't involve being a monster. It involves something that you can do naturally. Is that attractive? You know, when you have a cold, you ever hear the phrase, drink a lot of fluids when you have a cold? My father always said that. Richard, you have a cold. Drink a lot of fluids. My mother was just a little bit smarter. She said, if you have a cold, eat saltine crackers. Until I was 35 years old, I thought there was something in a saltine cracker that cured the common cold, like zinc or something. Yeah, I asked her, I said, Mom, why did you say saltine crackers? She goes, well, look, if I tell you to drink liquids, you're only going to drink and then you can't drink anymore because you're not thirsty anymore. But if you eat saltine crackers, you're going to drink a whole lot more. Okay? That's taking the natural way of doing things. Okay, so we're not going to mind. So what do we do in this case? Listen, yeah, but here's the biggest thing. Stop selling and start helping. Okay? Stop walking up to somebody in a seminar or a networking meeting and say, hi, this is what I do, and this is what I can offer you. And unless you're doing something different, is this the only law firm in Philadelphia? No, they better try something else. Because you got 20 other guys behind you and gals behind you and attorneys saying, I do that, I do that. And what happens when everybody says they do the same thing? They shop price, because that's the only differentiator. I mean, we're living in a world right now, everything goes in the shopping cart. Point, click, shopping cart, compare price, buy this. Point, shop, buy it. So one thing you want to guard against in a world of everybody trying to turn everything into a commodity product, where you point, click, and put in the shopping cart, you don't want to put a valuable service like you do that should never be in a commodity. But if you don't approach your customers properly, or clients properly, they will put you in a shopping cart. They will put you in a bag with everybody else, and all of a sudden you're competing against the law firm up the street, down the corner, around the block, and you say, oh, geez, this is crazy, man. There's thousands of us out there. And you're in your yuck zone, and you don't want to do it. So it's not very happy. So I'm saying stop selling and start helping people. Now does anybody here have any objections to helping somebody? I'm not saying be manipulative. That's another story. Okay? Don't be manipulative. You start helping people. When you bump into somebody, and this is tough, this is counterintuitive to everything you've said before, because somebody tells you, get in there and tell them who you are, tell them what we have, mention your name, throw your business card up in the air, and people, every time somebody scores at a sporting event, throw your business cards in the air, somebody will get it and say, oh, look, somebody from Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Maybe you would do business with them. Okay? Avoid talking about yourself, your law firm, or your specialty. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't come to this meeting to socialize. Why not? Why not? You know, when I met my wife, we were at a corporate event. I was a VP of sales, and she was the event planner. I didn't walk up to her and say, by the way, how would you like to move in with me? I have a house in Valley Forge. We'll have a daughter named Lily and a dog named Gus. She would have said, okay, I'll see you later. Something had to happen before that. You had to build your credibility. You had to be likable. You had to be a trusted advisor. And the way to be a trusted advisor is make sure you stay in their pleasure zone, not yours. Okay? Now, the good news is that if you don't want to be a stereotypical salesman, then you're in your pleasure zone because you're doing what you want to do, and that's generally help people and like people. That's why you got involved in this business. So it sounds a little tough, but you're going to go in there and you're going to do that by asking questions to find out about them. And the psychologists prove when people are talking about themselves, their pleasure center is going crazy. It's saying, oh, I feel pretty good. Tell me more about yourself. I remember when I was single, women had that down pat. You know, they'd walk into a bar and they just stand there and the guy say, hi, how you doing? Let me tell you about myself. And they go on and on and on. And they just say, oh, really? That's nice. They walk away and say, hey, nice girl. All she did was listen. Listen. It makes people feel better and you learn something about them. Okay? Now, after you ask questions and you're gaining information, and by the way, I'm not talking the questions about like you do the FBI interrogating somebody. Ask questions to learn about them and make sure they're sincere. I gave a presentation at Microsoft, and the whole presentation was a training workshop on listening skills, and we went deep, very deep into things. And after the presentation, a young lady walked up to me, and she had her little big hat, and she said, oh, Mr. Lucia, you have a minute? I said, sure, how can I help you? She said, oh, I really enjoyed your presentation about listening. She goes, what little tip or trick can you give me so that when I'm talking to somebody and listening, it'll look like I really care? This actually happened. And I said, let me think about that. How about really caring? And you don't want to do something that's insincere. Oh, yeah, tell me about yourself. No, you want to genuinely find out about somebody so that you can help them get where they want to do, help them get to their pleasure center and stay there. Okay? Now, after you ask questions, what do? You ask more questions, go deeper, and ask a thing called feeling questions, because the same studies that were done by psychologists to find out how that pleasure center is activating like crazy when you ask questions and people respond. When you ask them feeling questions, it goes crazy. And what a feeling question is, how do you feel about that? Oh, how are you doing? Here's, I'm riding a bike and I'm getting in a marathon, the road race, so-and-so. Really? Now, I've always wanted to ride a bike. How do you feel about that? Ooh. How do you feel about that? Now they're talking about how they feel. Now what's going up here? Your credibility is going up. And you haven't talked about anything that you do because they don't care about what you do. When someone leads off with something, this is what I do, they're a salesperson pitching you. You can take it back to the bank. Hi, I'm doing this. They're going to sell you something. That's why a lot of networking meetings is, I call it Helen Keller explaining a sunrise to Stevie Wonder. You know? Everybody's pitching and nobody's catching, right? Because everybody's saying, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. And the next person who talks loses. Because nobody's buying anything. That's why a lot of the biggest problem right now, LinkedIn started off, and networking meetings started off as a wonderful place for people to get together and share ideas and further whatever they do. And all of a sudden, all the salesmen came in and started pitching them, and all the decision makers and check writers bailed out. I don't want to do that thing. I'm just going to get pitched to. I don't want to go to the Saturday afternoon car dealership and have people ask me questions. So you have to be very, very cautious that you're asking questions that take an interest so that your real estate goes up. So you ask more questions and ask feeling questions because that will get them to do it. Believe me, this is the process to raise your real estate. Now notice we haven't said anything about, well, as a salesman, they say this, you say that. You handle an objection like this, you'll never get the Herman Munster stuff all over again. Just be a person. All you have to do, how do you care? Really care? And I'm not talking about manipulating anything. We're gonna try something right now. And this is manipulation. I want everybody in their minds to pick a number from 1 to 10. You got it? All right. I want you to get that number, whatever your own personal number is, and multiply it times 9. Got it? Now, if you come up with a single digit, that's your number. If you come up with a double digit after multiplying, I want you to add the two of them together. Got it? I want you to subtract 5 from your number. You have a new number. You can figure out everything you did fast. You have the new number now. Now, whatever your number is, I want you to go down the alphabet until you hit the letter of that number. Like A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, so forth and so on. Until you get to a letter. Everybody have a letter? It's your own letter. Got it? I want you to think of a country that begins with that letter. Got it? The last letter of that country, when you spell it out, the last letter, I want you to think of an animal that begins with that letter. Got it?
No, not yet.
I'm still
You must have
trying to think
messed
of an
up.
animal.
Everybody's got the same letter.
An animal that begins with your last letter of the country you're talking about.
Yeah, but I have a different country.
Well, probably, yeah, it's always those brain thinkers.
Good luck.
Okay, now, you got your animal? This is the last one now. Spell out your animal, the last letter of that animal, whatever it begins with, think of a color that begins with that letter. Got it? How many people have an orange kangaroo from Denmark?
Orange kangaroo.
Orange kangaroo from Denmark.
It is
Okay?
pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's manipulation. We're not talking about manipulation or mind games. And by the way, that used to work a whole lot better before Dubai was popular. Yeah, you pick Dubai, you mess the whole thing up. Right? Right. Yeah, my cousin was going to Dubai with his wife and he said,
Okay.
yeah, my cousin was going to Dubai with his wife and he called up and said, hey, why don't you and Karen meet us in Dubai with my wife? And I says, I think we better go to Don't Buy. Terrible. Okay, so I'm not talking about manipulating. I'm talking about asking questions that people, and you know what? What's wrong with making someone feel good? Is there anything wrong with that? Now, we haven't said anything about what law firm we work for yet. We haven't said anything about anything. We're operating in their pleasure-seeking area. Okay? Now, once you do that, find a reason to reconnect with them. Find a reason. Don't just walk away and say, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. Because what we're taught is saying, hey, you having problems at your current law firm? You need a law firm. You need somebody to represent you. You're in trouble? Because there's two ways to get business when people are in trouble. They run to you. It's like the old aspirin story. What would you pay for a bottle of aspirin? Start selling aspirins here today. $1, $2. Right now, you get ready to give a major presentation from a major client or a major partner at a small firm, and you've got a splitting headache. I've got an aspirin. How much you going to pay me for it? Maybe $10. So what I'm saying is find a reason to connect. I'm talking about literally write it down. There's a thing called CRM, Customer Relationship Management Tools. You've heard of them. I think you're using Contact Ease. Okay, and I think you're thinking about switching over to Salesforce in some form or another. What it does is it keeps track of where you are in the sales process. Not as important as this information. There's a client, he has name, address, phone number, you want all that kind of noise. But you also want to say, what's their pleasure-seeking? They like Italian food, they like running cars, race cars, they like events, they like sports, whatever the case may be. Now, why in the heck would I want to know this stuff about somebody? So you have a point of contact. So the next time you're reading an article or a review about a new restaurant in Philadelphia that has Italian food, you get the article or blog, and you forward it to them and say, hey, I thought you might be interested. And don't do the, and by the way, if you ever need an attorney, you can call me because I ain't having that practice this. Avoid that. Just like I avoided when I met my current wife. I avoided saying, you want to live in Valley Forge with me and have a dog and a Gus. She wasn't ready for that yet. They're not ready for it yet. But they are ready to have you be a trusted advisor. So whatever CRM system you use, whatever, make sure that it has this kind of place to put the information. If it doesn't, I know Salesforce can be modified. But you know, right now, if I had to lose any of these cells, I'd want to lose these next to last. The name and these two, and I'm great. Because I can always go find her name and address. I want to know this. And all of a sudden, if something happens, a current event, and that's something too, we negate current events. Things are happening. You look at a current event, you say, now who's that pertain to in my list of possible clients? And you get that current event and you find a way to touch base with them. Because what you're doing is you're looking for an opportunity, just like I did with Karen, my wife, to date her again. I met her, I liked her, and I needed another reason to say, would you like to go out and have dinner again? Or would you like to go here again? And because that's getting me on the path. Does any of this make sense? Okay, good. So you want to make sure you capture the information about people, because that's where the gold is. The gold is, and I can constantly refer to it as the pleasure zone, their pleasure zone, because that's what motivates them. That's what makes them move. That's what makes them get up and sleep, drink. I love that. Hey, he's honest. You got to give him credit. But I park my car in the basement of the liquor store. So I need to. So you get my drift on this? If you don't know this stuff, you can't sell somebody. You don't want to sell them. You can't develop them as clients. You have to find out what's important to them. Now, where do you get a list of things that are important to people? Where would you possibly get that? You can ask them personally. Dark web. What's that? Wouldn't dark web. Not that kind of web. How about existing clients? When you visit existing clients, if you get an opportunity, if not find somebody who has existing clients, ask them a question. Why do you do business with whoever county? Why? Forget the testimonial stuff. Testimonials are terrible. I don't even think you're allowed to use them in your industry, but testimonials are, and Johnny G, you know, from Detroit, the reason they always say Johnny G, because they know you can't never find him. I don't put his last name. Johnny G said that they're the most wonderful people in the world. Well, you know what? References make no sense. My next door neighbor borrows my lawnmower. If I can call him right now, he'll swear I'm the Pope. He borrows my lawnmower. I just keep borrowing my lawnmower. So forget about the references, but do you want to find out from why do you do business with us? It does two things. First of all, it reinforces in their mind why they're doing business with you, and it keeps away competition. But it also gives you insight to somebody in a certain practice area does business with you because they like this particular thing. And you get a chance to use later on to talk about them. Because if I say, somebody says, oh, I'm going to sell you this phone. This phone's really a great phone. They said, yeah, I don't like the phone. It's got a wire and stuff like that. You say, you know what? You sound exactly like Joey Bag of Donuts, my other client. He said the same thing you did. But you know what he found out? I would have never guessed it. He found out that it's easy if you're just going to stand 2 feet from the phone, use the phone, you just pick up and talk. That's what he found out. Now it's not you pitching. It's you referencing somebody who's doing it. It's called feel, felt, found. Okay? Now, so this is important. Get the information about somebody. And I want to ask you right now today, you're currently working on new clients in some form or another. Am I right? There's some people that you say, oh, gee, I hope they become clients. Do you have this information on them? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay? You have to have a plan. If you're going to be successful at business development, you have to have a plan. Put a plan in place. If not, it's just a wish if you don't have a plan. Now, here's the interesting part about making up a plan to go forward and get new clients. If you're in your yuck zone, you're reluctant to make a plan. You're reluctant to execute the plan. And you do it intermittently because you slip into the, I have to do this because it's expected of you. And you'll never do it. It's like a diet. I've been on a diet for 50 years. I'm gonna not eat any carbs. I can do for you, some pizza left over, I'm gonna have this place. It's intermittent if it's not in your pleasure zone. So make sure that you're staying in your pleasure zone and have a plan. And so again, psychologists have proven, do something every day. Don't say, well, let's see, I spend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday doing this. Thursday is my business development day. I'm going to climb into my yuck zone and contact people in their yuck zone until I can't handle it anymore. And then hope that, oh, let's see, something busy came up, like, oh, wait a minute, I think that plant needs watering. So, and Thursday's over, I'll do it again. Oh, I can't do it this Thursday. I got so much, I'm so backed up. I have to put off that then. Don't do that. Stay in your pleasure zone and you'll be willing to do something, no matter how small, every single day. And that's what's going to get you to where you're going. You're going to make it happen every single day. Okay? So, again, a dream without a plan is just a wish. Now, we've gotten to the stage, we've got somebody who is now thinking that, hey, this person is kind of like I like them. I like what they're doing. They're helpful to me. You all have a neighbor, okay, of some sort, and a friend. Jim and I probably knew each other for, I don't know, 5, 6 years. I didn't know what he did. He knew what I did. We became friends first. And then little by little, we sit around a campfire and we start talking about what we do. And I said, yeah, maybe I can help you. And he said, can you do this? And that's where we got to it. But if I would have walked up to Jim the first time and say, hi, I'm an expert in business development. You need my help. This is what I charge. I'd say, yeah, right. Give me 20,000 notices. Get out of my face. And it was done very naturally. So if your neighbor came to you and said, look, could you give me a hand, Tom, Mary? I got this problem with leaves in my gutter. You'd say, yeah, I can give you a hand. By the way, are you interested in Section 20 here in Jersey? Because that's what I do. I work on Section 20 and I can talk about, well, I don't care about Section 20. I care about leaves in my gutter. And you go outside and you stay out of your focus of who you are and be a person and get interested in things that people around you are interested in. And that's what your friends, you don't bother your friends. There was a sales manager years ago who said, always be closing. Always be closing. Always be closing. Someone's like, I'm with Weber Gallagher. No. I've changed that to, do you always want to be annoying? Because that's what you are when you're always closing. You're annoying. So you got to the point now where someone says, you know what, this is a decent person. They sent you a note. They saw that Conestoga just won the championship in soccer. And, my daughter plays there. And they sent Liz, congratulations on, Lily playing championship soccer. It was really cool the way they won. And by the way, if you need some help with Section 20, no. And they say, you know what? Pleasure zone. So you got there, and now it's time to start. So you'll find something really remarkable, and this is tough. They'll almost come to you. They'll say, hey, by the way, you mentioned that you're an attorney. We're having some problems with this and that. Now it's time for the engaging in the conversation about doing business together. Here is a 4-step process. You've got to follow these 4 steps or you're in big trouble. If you jump right to this one, you're no different than the other 2,000 attorneys that are within spitting distance of here. And then they're going to try price. So we're going to go through real quickly. You sit down with the person and you talk about, what are you trying to accomplish? What are your goals? What do you want to do by us, this relationship that we're going to have? What are your goals? And let them talk about the goals that they want. Don't jump right in and say, oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. No. This is the goals we're trying to, well, you are? Okay, fine. That can be done. Okay, what else? Why do you do it? How do you feel about that if you were able to get this done? You talk about their goals. The next step What steps do you think we have to take to get to those goals? Well, you gotta come in, you gotta talk to the people here, and you gotta talk to these people, and I'll give you all the case history on this, and I'll give you all the problems we have with that, and that. And say, okay, fine, I'll do this and you do that. Very, very important that you define the steps that need to be done and the roles and responsibility, who's gonna do what. You know, there's a thing called the IKEA factor. And they swear, this is the person who started IKEA, swears that the reason why they're successful is because people participated in the building of whatever they bought. There is a good feeling, yeah, I know.
That's the worst. I'd rather pay somebody to put it together. I loathe doing that.
Well,
That's why I stopped doing that shit. I was like, screw that.
Hear that? That's proof positive. Not everybody is the same. If that was the case, I could put together an elevator pitch saying, you have to go to IKEA because you get the fun and satisfaction of doing this.
I'd end up putting my foot through it and being like, fuck this.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's my point. I wouldn't use that IKEA factor with him. Okay? But the IKEA factor says that people, if they're integrated in the idea, they make it more their own. And also, when they integrate their own ideas into it, it shows your value. Okay? That's something that people, and not, by the way, salesmen don't even do this. They do a terrible job at explaining their value. Okay? When they start seeing that you can establish goals with them, that you can establish the steps with them, and establish the roles, in your case would be, I'll do everything, because I don't want the F-bomb and the foot go through the thing. Exactly. But I will have a beer with you. Okay? Then, and only then, if you've passed through all those, the person internally is now seeing the value in what you bring to the situation. And once they see your value, they're less apt to shop it for the other 2,000 attorneys with this bidding business here. Then you talk about money. Because then the money is worth it because they see the value. If you jump right to money, you're a commodity. And this is a mistake that a lot of people do. So it's all in this whole idea of stay within the pleasure zone, find out what's important to people, and work with them together collaboratively. Anybody ever told you, give me a proposal and I'll get back to you? That ever happen to anybody? Sure it does. You pitch something, they say, give me a proposal. That's the easiest way of saying, get out of my face. Send me the information. Get out of my face. And you put it in your CRM system, say, look, I got a prospect. He's gonna close any minute. No, he's not. And then after doing about 100 of them, somebody else does a computing, says, wait, you only got 3, 4, 5% close ratio. Why is that? Oh, people just don't want to buy anymore. I don't understand. This is the way for you to understand. You're not going through these processes. Right? Now, this isn't being a salesman. This is just being a normal person. What would you do if you were trying to marry Karen? You don't marry Karen. Okay, so that's the important part about this process, and it makes sense. Now, you've got a process to follow. You've got some ideas, accept them or not accept them, about how you're going to relate to people, not be a salesperson, but really get them on your side to do that. And we're living in an age of marketing right now. Marketing has taken on a different role. Okay, marketing used to be this is something you do, and sales reps can blame marketing because sales weren't coming in. Marketing plays a very, very important role on getting people in front of you in masses. You have to narrow it down to make sure to go to right people. Okay. All right. We're running late, so I'm going to fly through this. There's a concept. I have a book for everyone. It's called the 180 Rule. So it's good that I have a book. You can read it later. The 180 Rule states it started with a study of the negativity bias. This is going to determine whether you're on the right track in everything you do. Negativity bias started in 1948, continues on these psychologists. And what they discovered, that there's 2 lobes on either side of our brain called the amygdala, amygdala, depending upon your pronunciation preferences. And what they measured was that when someone sees a cute little puppy or something, the electrons fire very nicely, and everybody's happy. But when they see a terrible accident, a bloody accident or something terrible, it fires like crazy. So we're more prone towards the negative than the positive. And that's why when you drive down a road, there's an accident on the side, everybody slows down. That's why, about listening to the news, anybody hear the news last night that 16 more Eagle Scouts were named? No. We heard all the negative stuff because that's what people want to hear. Now, before you decide the whole world's negative, that's not the reason. What the psychologist came up with is that it's a way of self-preservation. I better not step out around that rock. There might be a saber-toothed tiger there. It's to protect us and keep us whole. So I developed a thing called the 180 rule. And what it is you state what you're trying to accomplish in your plan, and then turn it around 180 degrees. Okay? And make a list of everything you would do to accomplish the opposite. Okay? Because it's easier for you to come up with that list. If I said to you, make a list of everything you can to get more clients, what would you do? But if you turn around and you say, make a list of everything, then you can come up with like that like crazy. I came back from a speaking engagement, and I was in a hurry, and I thought it was a formal affair. I said, don't forget, we got the fundraiser tonight. I'm putting on a tuxedo, and she comes out dressed very nice in cabbie clothes. You know what they are? They're very nice clothes, but they're not formal. I said, are you going like that? And she says, okay, Mr. 181, what would you have said to me? How would you have said it if you wanted to make me feel? But if you think about it, it works in your personal life and it works in everything else. You turn around 180 degrees, okay? If you're currently doing anything on that list, you're on the wrong track. And it works. And let's talk about how it works in our world. Networking meetings. What do you want out of a networking meeting? You want to try to identify new clients. What would you do if you didn't want to? You're getting ready to walk in there. So wait a minute, we just got a phone call from the managing partners of Weber Gallagher. They said, we changed the rules. Don't go into this networking meeting trying to find new clients. Go into this meeting trying to upset people so they're not clients. What would you do? What would you do? Well, I would talk about me. I would pitch. I would do all the yuck things to stay in the personal zone. People are self-sabotaging themselves without even knowing it. How about speeches? Your favorite word. I'm consistent. I'm consistent. Okay? What would you do? I'd talk about the wrong things. I wouldn't make it relevant to the audience. I would send it to just throw blogs out there and hope somebody picks up on it. Videos. I would do a video and talk about everything that I do and gear it towards other attorneys to show them how smart I am as opposed to benefits of clients. Like Kathy. All right, and et cetera, et cetera. You can go through that list, but I implore you right now to make a list of whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever was on your plate today, take it and turn it around 180 degrees and make a list. It'll be very easy for you to say, what can I do to do it wrong? Okay, my son came home from school, and I said, I've never seen you studying. He says, oh, yeah. I said, get in your room. Shut off the radio, shut off the TV, and I want you to turn around and give me 2 hours worth of studying. And don't come out until you do. He said, okay, Mr. 180, what would you have said to me if you wanted to make me not study? We do it every day. Every single day we find ourselves self-sabotaging yourself. And I'm saying in summary here, because they're going to bring out the hook. In summary here, business development for you, stop being a salesperson. Do the things that are natural towards you and natural towards your clients, okay? And make sure the things you're doing aren't subconsciously the opposite of what need to be done. You'll find out that if you think about it, go back and the actions that you've done to try to get clients, go back and you'll find out that you unconsciously have done stupid things. You go to networking meetings and made a fool of yourself. You have an opportunity to talk to somebody about what's important to them, and you didn't. You talked about yourself and said, I. You walked up to somebody and said, let's have a beer. He says, I don't drink. I'm an alcoholic. You said, oh, let's have a beer anyway. Okay. All right. We're going to end this. If you have questions, I'll be glad to hang around for them. I hope we had more time, but we don't. Every one of these topics, I do whole seminars on, so I hope you don't feel cheated, but I want you just, if if you accomplished one thing today, you can text me or write about it. Here's my email address, and tell me what your one thing is. If you need any help, I'll be glad to help anybody with any particular question you have, and I'll hang around afterwards.